talking about the subject of knowledge. And basically what we've talked about all week is that God is the source of knowledge. And that knowledge in general, just knowing things, really isn't going to get you where you want to be. Knowledge has to be, just like everything else, you have to combine that with love, because God is love. And the knowledge without love is just puffs you up, and it doesn't really help anybody. The verse that we're going to go to today is in the book of Matthew. It's in the 7th chapter, and we're going to start in the 24th verse. Jesus is talking here, and he says, "Whosoever hears these sayings of mine and does them, I will say that he is like a wise man who built his house on a rock. The rain comes down, and the floods come up, and the winds blow, and it beats on the house, but it doesn't fall, because it's founded on a rock. And everyone that hears these things that I say and does not do them, he's like a man who built his house on the sand. And so the rain comes down, and the floods come up, and the winds blow, and that house just falls, because it doesn't have any foundation. It's built on shifting sand. And I don't know if you know this, but sand, it kind of will stay there for a while, but if it gets real wet, it's really easy to just slide away, or the wind blows or whatever. Sand is not a good foundation to build on. And Jesus is saying that the things that he says, they will give you a foundation. And once again, we get over into this subject of God's whole theme all the way through the Bible is that he wants to bless you. He wants to take care of you. He wants to provide for you. He wants to show you how to have a good life. And he says, if you'll do what I tell you, it's going to work out way, way, way better if you'll do it that way. Follow the instructions, and it'll turn out much, much better. So now turn over to the book of Proverbs. We're going to go to the 14th chapter of Proverbs. And in verse 12 it says, "There is a way that seems right to a man, but the end of that way is death." What Solomon is saying here is that you as a person, you look ahead of you and you say to yourself, "Gee, I think this will work." But you don't talk to God about it. Chances are it's going to fail, and when it fails, it may turn out to be really bad. That's the way that seems right to you. You're making up your own rules, you're going along and you say, "Gee, I think that I should practice communism. Communism seems like a good idea. Let's do communism." And yet, millions and millions and millions of people die because of communism. Or you say, "Well, I think a good idea is capitalism. Let's do capitalism." And yet, even though there's some good things about capitalism, there's also some bad things about capitalism. But if you talk to God about it, what does he say? And what he says, and I'm not going to get into all that. I know somebody would really love for me to preach a whole sermon on what God says about the difference between communism and capitalism, and I'm not going to do it. But look, if you talk to God about it, you can find out from the Bible what works and what doesn't work, because they already tried it. They spent thousands of years. How many? 4,000 years until the time of Jesus. They tried all these different types of government. It's kind of like watching that TV show, remember the 100? They tried every form of government known to man, from anarchy to complete absolute tyranny, and none of them worked. Why is that? Because they didn't talk to God about it. God knows how to make government work. America got about as close as you can get. But because America forgot God, it stopped working. And right now we're in free fall. I don't want to get too political, but we are in free fall. We are in a place where 200 years from now, unless something drastically changes, America won't be here anymore. They'll probably still call it America, but it won't be America because we're 200 years from the founding of this nation, and we don't look anything like what George Washington thought we were going to look like or wanted us to look like. My point to all of this is just that we have to seek God and His wisdom and His knowledge and His understanding and find out what is going to work and not going to work. And by knowledge, by knowing, by going through here and seeing how they tried to do these things, we can know what's going to happen based on what has happened. And this is that old saying where people say, well, if you don't know history, then you're bound to repeat it. This is the same thing, is that if we talk to God, if we find out from God what has gone on before, if we seek and look for the truth and find His knowledge, then we can find out, hey, maybe let's not do that because this isn't going to turn out so well. Let's not act like Sodom because Sodom wound up being destroyed. Let's not do that. If we seek what God wants, He wants whatever is good for us. That is His will. His will is good. And so we need to remember to seek Him and seek His knowledge. And as a result, we're going to wind up where we want to be. If we go the way that we think is right, but we didn't check with Him, it's not going to turn out right. There's a little story I'll share with you really quick here before we get done. I was on my way home. I was on the interstate on my way home, and I had this thought in my mind: I should take the scenic route. I should turn off here at this exit and take the scenic route to get to my house. And I thought, no, I don't want to go that way. It'd take too long. And yet I got around the corner, and here in front of me was this giant traffic jam, and it took me an extra 20 or 30 minutes to get home. That was, in a practical way, that was me thinking that I had the right path. I knew the right way to go. And I didn't listen to that little voice in my head. God knew that there was a traffic jam, but I didn't. And that's one of the main differences between us and Him, is that He knows what's going on and we don't. And if we'll check with Him, He can save us a lot of time and trouble. If I'd have gone the back way, it might have taken me an extra 10 minutes to get home, but that would have been better than taking an extra 30 minutes to get home. So, all right. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you, and I'll see you on Sunday. We're going to talk about covenant. I bet we're going to talk about Abraham and Genesis chapter 15 and all of that kind of stuff. We're going to talk about the subject of covenant. All right, so take it easy. I'll see you Sunday. Take care. Bye-bye.